All right, so we are on 5-2 day 2. We're not going to do this whole lesson right now. We're going to get it started, and we'll stop and go from there because we don't have school for a little while then next week. All right, so first of all, we're going to talk about computing values of trig functions. So computing actually means that I'm going to use a calculator. So if you have a calculator, you should have it in front of you right now. All right, so we're going to have to get used to using our calculators a little bit here. And the first thing that's super important is my calculator must be in radian mode. So if you have a little baby calculator like I do, right next to your second key, there's a key that says DRG. And when you press on that DRG key, it comes up, it says DEG, then RAD, and GRD. This stands for degree, radian, and gradient. And we want to be in radian mode. So it has like these little underlines under it, and you just need to arrow over until the underline is under radian. And then when you hit radian, then you're going to hit enter. And you should know that you're in radian mode because on your display, there should be a little RAD at the very bottom of your display, right? So your cursor right here blinking, and right here it should say radian, RAD. If it doesn't say that, you have a little problem. And if you're using a bigger calculator like a TI-84, you're probably going to go under math and then click down and hit radian. If you have problems with that, just come see me, send me an email, we'll meet, and I can help you figure out your calculator. Okay, now the next thing on your calculator is you only really have the big three, sine, cosine, tangent, keys on your calculator. So in order for me to put other ones in there, like cosecant or secant or cotangent, we have to use reciprocal functions. So the reciprocal means that I flip my fraction, right? So if I want the cosecant, which is the reciprocal of sine, I literally have to put into my calculator 1 divided by the sine of whatever number I'm going to put in there. Really, really important that you know it is not the part on your calculator that says sine to the -1. That's the arc sine. That's totally different. Okay, so that's an important thing for you to know. All right, so we're just going to practice using our calculator right now. Okay, and so I want you to try these and then check to make sure you get the right answer. If you can't get the right answer with your calculator, you need to talk to me or talk to somebody to help you because you can't do this stuff without using your calculator. Okay? So first one, make sure you're in radian mode. Take the sine of 2.2. You should get 0.8085. All right, try the next one, cotangent. So cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So I'm going to plug into my calculator 1 divided by the tangent of 28. And when you get that, you should get negative 3.5533, it looks like, if I'm rounding to 4 decimal places. Okay, you try cosecant. Pause the video. Okay, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so you should have had 1 divided by the sine of 0.98. And when you plug that in, you should get 1.2041. So double check that you can make your calculator give you the correct answer there. All right, continuing on. So if we go to the next part, we're going to talk about even and odd functions. And we've done this before, okay? But now we're going to put it into the terms of trig functions. So if we're going to test if a function is even, odd, or neither, we always do the same thing. We always replace the x with a negative x. If the function is exactly the same, that made it an even function. When I replace the negative x, or x with negative x, if it doesn't change it, we're good. If it's completely opposite, that's an odd function. This is stuff we've learned before. And if my outcome isn't exactly the same or exactly opposite, then it's neither. So we're going to look at this in terms of sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so sine of t. So we're doing this the same, like t is my variable. So I replace t with negative t. But remember that t is a distance, okay? So when I say to you, my distance t, right here on my circle, I'm going that far, it gives me an ordered pair of xy. If, and therefore the sign, so the definition of sign, remember, is the y value. So in this case, I'm in quadrant 1, y is positive. If I go a distance of negative t, the only thing that changes, guys, is that I'm going down from my starting point. Okay, I'm going the same distance, I'm just going down. So therefore, I'm in quadrant 4, so the y value this time is negative y. So when I make that a negative t, y becomes negative. That's exactly opposite. Therefore, sine is an odd function. Okay, we're doing the same thing here for cosine. So same like I go up t units. I'm at the point xy. Cosine is my x value. Therefore, it's just x. Okay, if I go down t units, I'm in quadrant 4, my cosine is still x. It's still positive x because I'm in quadrant 4 and x's are positive there. That's exactly the same. That means cosine is even. All right, tangent. So same thing, if I go up t units, my tangent is defined as y over x. If I go down t units, now it's negative y over x, because when I go down, I'm in quadrant 4, and therefore those are exactly opposite, so tangent is odd, okay? Which means that the only even properties are cosine and cosine's reciprocal of secant. Everything else is odd. All right, so continuing on and using that information, all right? So, and I know that your paper, I know I didn't give you the most updated version of my note sheet, so that's why 3 and 4 are written here, and you're gonna have to add those to your paper in a second. But I know you have 1 and 2 on your paper, and it says, use the even and odd properties to determine each value. So the first one says the sine of negative pi over 6. So the first thing I want you to think about is my sine even or odd? We know sine is odd. So basically what that means is if I put in, if I have a negative t value, then it's going to be the negative sine of t, okay? Therefore, this is my negative t value, right? T is pi over 6, that's negative, so that's equal to negative sine of pi over 6. So then I think of where's pi over 6? Pi over 6 has the ordered pair, root 3 over 2, comma 1/2, okay? And therefore, the sine is the y value, and I know that this should be negative. So I'm gonna take negative 1/2, and that's my answer, okay? Now, this is using even and odd values. You could just go to that spot on the circle, negative pi over 6, which is, we know down here, and then know that my y value is negative there. So depending on how you want to do that. Okay, number 2, cosine. I know cosine is even. That means that my negative t value is exactly the same as a positive t value. So this says that this is the same as the cosine of pi over 4. And pi over 4 is the ordered pair, root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. So the cosine of pi over 4 is my x value, and it's going to be positive, so my answer is root 2 over 2. Good. Okay. Number 3. So you need to add these to your paper, okay, because this is using it in a different way. So in the first part, you could find these spots on your circle and get the answers. But in the second part, you need to do something different to use the even and odd properties. So here I'm saying, for number 3, and you can pause the video to write it down, f of x is equal to sine squared of x plus cosine of x. So if I need to know if this is even or odd, the first thing I'm going to do is replace x with negative x. So this means I get the sine squared of negative x plus the cosine of negative x. Okay. Here's the deal, guys. Whatever my sign is, when I square it, it becomes positive. Anything squared is positive. Therefore, this is going to be the same as the sine squared of x. Plus, the cosine of x is already even. It means that if I have the negative value in there, it's exactly the same as the positive value. It's even. So this is the simplified version, and I need to take that and compare it to the original. Is it exactly the same or exactly opposite? It's exactly the same. Therefore, this function is even. All right, let's check number 4. So f of x equals cosine of x times sine cubed of x. So now I'm going to say f of negative x, and I'm going to replace. So that's the cosine of negative x times the sine cubed of negative x. Cosine is even. So when I take the cosine of negative x, I still get the cosine of x, no problem. Now, sine is odd. So this means when I take the sine of negative x, I'm taking negative sine of x. That's what I get. And then I'm taking it to the third power. So if I have a negative value taken to the third power, it stays negative. Therefore, this is negative sine cubed of x.
For the volleyball fundraiser.
Sorry, I had an announcement there. All right, so that means I have a positive times a negative. So when I multiply a positive times a negative, it is negative. So I get negative cosine of x times the sine cubed of x, because these are just terms. They're just numbers, right? All of that is put together. So how does this compare to the original? Is it exactly the same? No, there's a negative sign there. Is it exactly opposite? Yes, because this is all one term. Therefore, this is odd. All right, hopefully that makes sense. We're going to go a little bit further. So meet you on the next page. All right, we're just going to do this top portion of this page here. So we're going to start talking about fundamental identities, and you already know some of these. And the first one are called the reciprocal identities. So these are how I define them, right? I know sine, cosine, and tangent are my big three. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. Cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So I can always use them as reciprocal. I use that a lot in my calculator. But I can also say that if tangent is defined as y over x, and sine is defined as y and cosine is defined as x, then my tangent can be defined as the sine divided by the cosine, which we're going to use that quite a bit. And that means that the reciprocal cotangent can be defined as the cosine divided by the sine. So those 5 are things we've already talked about in some way, shape, or form. The next ones are called the Pythagorean identities. And the Pythagorean identities, remember the Pythagorean theorem? Remember x squared plus y squared? Actually, it's not x and y in Pythagorean identities. It's a squared plus b squared. We change it all the time. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, okay? And so very similar to that, my Pythagorean identities start like this. Sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. It's from the unit circle, guys. So if I say to you, okay, I have a spot on the circle, right? This is my x value, this is my y value, and my hypotenuse is 1, because that is a right angle. So x squared plus y squared equals 1, and x and y are sine and cosine. So that's where I get it from. Now, I just want to show you why this works, because this first one I think is pretty easy to see from that circle. But what about the other ones? Tangent squared t plus 1 equals secant squared t. So here's how it starts. I'm going to prove this, but I'm going to start with the one that's easy to see. Sine squared of t plus cosine squared of t is equal to 1. And I want you, because this is an equation, I can do anything I want to it as long as it's the same. I want you to divide everything by the cosine squared. Okay? So, what is sine squared divided by cosine squared? It's tangent squared, because sine divided by cosine is tangent, so that works. Plus, what's cosine squared divided by cosine squared? It's 1, because they're exactly the same. And what's 1 over cosine squared? That's secant squared. So we're using that definition. So this right here is my new Pythagorean identity. It's the first one I proved. All right, same thing is true on the second one. I'm going to start again with what I know. Sine squared of t plus cosine squared of t is equal to 1. This time, let's divide everything by sine squared of t. Sine squared divided by sine squared is 1. Cosine squared divided by sine squared, definition, that's cotangent squared of t. And 1 over sine squared, that's right here, that's cosecant squared of t. And there's my new identity. So that's where they come from. Okay, I'm going to stop right there for now. And I'm going to have you try the following for homework, please. On page 416, I'm going to have you do 4, 8, 13, 16 and 20, 32, 37 through 41, the odds, 45, 63, 65, and 68. All right. Let me know if you have questions.